started about 2019, either November or December. I know that it was around the holidays. We had been out ghost hunting all night. So it was my boyfriend at the time, his family, so his mom and his sister were with us. And we were going around like local areas in Waco, Texas, and we were just trying to talk to anything that was out there, if there were any spirits lingering. So we were messing around with stuff. But we didn't really get anything the entire night, and so we decided to go to another location in Waco, and it's very popular and it's very well known for being haunted. It's an urban legend about there's a witch that hides in the forest of this park, and it's called Cameron Park. And I don't know how true it is. I've never experienced anything with the witch, but coming into that night, we were driving down the road, and it's a windy road. It's a very windy road, and there's a bunch of tree coverage everywhere. So your eyes are constantly playing tricks on you as you're looking down the road. We decided to stop at one portion, and we were really frustrated that we weren't finding anything. We weren't getting anything at all, so we just wanted to take a break, chill out, and just think of what we were gonna do. We got out of the car and had parked down at the bottom of a hill. And it's like the radio area for the park rangers. We parked at the base and parked right in front of the ranger area, and we're looking back up the hill. My boyfriend and I at the time, we got out of the car and we decided to walk up the road a little bit, and we were not far from the car at all. And he decides he's aggravated, he just wants to get his feelings out, so he just lets out this guttural yell. And he's like antagonizing anything around him. And so he's out there just letting out all of these yells and roars, anything he can think of, growling. And he finally stops. And within a second, it was so clear. There was like a shuffling in the foliage. And I look over towards this light pole that's like right over across the way. So we were on one side of the street, and the light pole was on the other side of the street, diagonal from us. And we were about maybe 200 yards away or so. So we weren't super close, but in the tree line, I saw something appear. And at first I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me, until my boyfriend stopped and zoned in on that thing. And we look, and it's this 8-foot tall figure standing right next to the light pole. And it leans down and kneels on all fours and darts across the street. Just this tall black mass slowly slinking down to shrink down to the size of just midway down the telephone pole, or the light pole. The light pole is maybe about 15 feet high. It comes down to half its height already at standing. So for it to shrink back down, and then it looked almost like this giant wolf. I can't describe exactly how it looked, other than it was black, it was very rugged looking, and there are no wolves in that area. It is impossible for that to have any kind of animal of that size out there. And especially because that is in the center of like downtown. So there's nothing as big as that's going to be down there logically. And it was all black and just extremely shaggy looking. It had a lot of loose looking fur. And as it got closer, like I remember looking back, and there was some kind of yellow in its eyes, but it was bright. It was like a neon yellow as you're looking at it. And it took me forever to get my senses to come back and be like, you need to get out of there. We're already in the dark of the night, and this thing is pitch black. So we're watching it, and we are stuck watching this thing move across the street the whole time. We could not break our eyes from it. It literally felt like we were stuck in this loop for eternity. And it was maybe like a 10-second thing. We freaked out, and so once we finally could gather our senses, we ran back to the car and we got out of there as fast as we could. I remember talking to my boyfriend about it, and I was like, did you feel like the need to run? And he was like, yeah, but I couldn't move no matter how hard we tried. Because I tried to turn, and I tried to break my head away to turn back and run towards the car, and I couldn't break my body. We darted immediately to the car, no questions asked. Like, it was me and him, and I took off and got there first, and I told his mom, I was like, start the car, we need to go, we're getting out of here now. She's fumbling with the car keys, trying to get the car started. It was like an older minivan, probably like an early 2000s minivan, and we were having so much trouble just getting out of there. And then I remember, like, you already had to slam your foot on the gas to get it to even go. And we were at the bottom of a hill, so we had to come up out of a hill. I looked at my boyfriend and I was like, do we tell them what happened? What are we gonna do? Do we keep this between us? And so we didn't want to freak them out too bad, but we had told them we had just seen something. We didn't tell them exactly what it was, just that we had watched something come out of the bushes and go back. It was something dark. It was just so terrifying. Like, my whole body broke out in chills. I was crying by the end of us getting in the car. Like, we were just so relieved to finally be away from it. I already know you don't mess with that kind of stuff. Like, you don't anger them. If you want to get answers, you have to be respectful. Like, you're talking to a friend. You have to be very nice, and especially to get the information you want. And he just went in there and just went crazy. And I guess it was just because we were so frustrated with how the night was going. We weren't getting anything at all. People have talked about seeing apparitions out there and stuff, but nothing like what we saw. I guess it was more well known for the witch, like this evil witch that's supposed to live in this. It's literally called a witch's hut, and it's in the middle of the woods. The park itself is a beautiful, like, overlook of the city and into the Brazos River. But inside the forest, there's a bunch of hiking trails all over the place. But it's about like a 3-mile hike, maybe. But the only thing that's really well known is just the witch, because you can hear her laugh, which, yeah. So we didn't hear anything, but people we were friends with have claimed, like, that they've heard the witch's laugh while they're out running around. My boyfriend's mom decided to mess with a Ouija board out there multiple times. I don't know what her experiences were other than very negative, and she still to this day will not open up about it. So this was at least within the following 3 weeks. We were in our apartment, and I noticed a rift forming between us after this incident. We were generally in a pretty good place and within our relationship, so there was no reason for the fighting that was going on. And just like a lot of arguments over petty things and such. Well, this particular incident was just very out of the blue. We were in an argument, and then afterwards, my boyfriend decided he was going to go downstairs and go outside to the car. I think he went to go grab something. I don't remember exactly. But I know that I was left alone in the apartment, and I had walked back out of the bedroom. And to the right of my bedroom is the dining room area. And so it's just this long chandelier that hangs over my dining table. Well, I walked back out, and he had already been out of the house for at least 45 seconds, almost a minute. And I look over, and the chandelier is swinging back and forth. I didn't know what to do. I'm just standing there looking at it, and it's just going nuts. And I walk over, and so I stop it and hold it with my hands and try to just recenter it. And I'm like, what the heck? And then right before he starts running up the stairs, it starts swinging again. And it's just swinging in my face, and it's going around my head. And so I stop, and I step back, and I'm looking at it, and my boyfriend comes in, and it stops. Stands perfectly still. Nothing after that. So this thing was antagonizing me when he wasn't around. And it was terrifying. That was the only incident within that short amount of time. Other than that, it comes to the dream, and that's like the worst part. It probably happened about a month or two after the first initial incident with the figure. I was home alone. My boyfriend was gone for work, so he was out of town for 2 weeks at a time at that moment. So I was at the apartment by myself, and this was like the beginning of his first week gone. So he hadn't even been gone for like maybe 3 days, and something was already happening. I remember turning off all the lights, and I was getting into bed. I left my blinds cracked, and my blinds being cracked illuminates the room with the moonlight. And so it's not enough to be like a super bright light or anything. It's just enough to illuminate the floor. But with it being white carpet, it reflects very well. When you walk into the room, my bed is on the center wall. The closet is to the left of the bed, and then the bathroom door is to the foot of the bed. And my exit door to the living room is next to the closet door. And I was getting ready for bed, and I climbed in, got comfortable, fell asleep. I started having this dream. And at first, it was very strange because it was like watching a movie, but it was like watching myself sleep. And so I'm pulled into this outer body experience, and I'm looking down at myself. I recognize my bedroom. It is exactly the same, completely normal, but it's actually in real time. And I'm watching myself asleep on my bed and tucked in under the covers. As I pan around the room, I notice this dark black figure, kind of misty, standing in the doorway of the bathroom. It has yellow eyes, but no body. So it has no definitive body other than just the eyes. And the eyes are the most terrifying part. And I'm looking at just the wispiness of it. It's very slinky, very curvy, and no form. Just very blob-like. And so I'm watching it, and then it finally materializes into an actual figure of a man. I can see in the dream the figure just form itself. I'm immediately frozen. I'm like, I know who this is. I know exactly what this is. This is that thing that followed me home. I watch it slowly mystify again at the feet. It starts from bottom and then heads up to the top. So it slowly starts to mist again and evaporate. And then it comes down and dives down towards the floor. It's following the shadows of the room because it won't come near where the moonlight is coming in. And it wouldn't be able to touch anything within the light. As I'm watching it move around the room, I look, and it's slowly just curving past my bed, and it's very long. It's like watching a snake slither around the room. And I'm watching it slowly creep up the bed, and it finally starts moving towards the sheets of my bed, and a mist is just floating above my head. I immediately wake up, and the mist is covering my eyes. It's pitch black. I don't see the moonlight, and then the figure starts to wisp around me, and it floats off and just disappears. Like, the whole mist evaporates everything. Like, my face felt cold. I felt sick to my stomach. I immediately sat up in the bed, freaking out, and I look at my clock, and it's 3:33 in the morning. And I freaked out. I'm like crying at this point, just tears. Like, I'm not even upset or anything. I don't know what's going on. I'm still trying to grasp everything that's happened, and I just have tears rolling down my face, terrified. I'm shivering, shaking, everything. And everything in me told me that thing physically was there. And that was not a dream. I was actually watching it happen in real time while asleep. I shot up out of bed. I look at the clock. It's 3:33. And my boyfriend's mom had texted me, and she was like, "Hey, I have a bad feeling. Are you okay?" And I was like, no way. I'm like, there's no way. She immediately sent that. It was probably a minute before I had woken up. So it was 3:32 a.m. on the text message. When I had woken up, it was 3:33. She's just, "Hey, I have a bad feeling. Are you okay? What's going on?" I just call her, and I was like, something just happened. I'm coming over. I cannot stay here by myself. I said, I will be staying with you until my boyfriend gets home. I'm not staying here alone. I had to just grab all of my stuff. I grabbed all my clothes, everything I needed for work for the next week. and just booked it over to her house and stayed with her and her husband. I couldn't sleep for weeks. Like, I was having night terrors about it. It was becoming something serious. I was terrified. But I realized, like, the more fear that you feed it, the stronger it was getting. Just because I could just feel the energy keep growing and the animosity build, but nothing else happened. Like, it never came. It just built and built, but it never snapped or anything. I really think something had attached either to myself or to my boyfriend and didn't like the fact that I was either there, like in the comfort of my own home, or it just wanted to actually terrify me to the point of wanting to leave my home. But it was something malicious. It was very evil. Like, it was not, I wouldn't wish that fear on my worst enemy. My boyfriend and I had been living with his mom for a little bit at a time, and we were staying there for a few weeks or so. And I remember he wanted to go outside to go sit and smoke a cigarette. And so I just went out there and sat with him. It was like midnight and we were getting ready for bed and everything. So we were sitting on the porch and there's just a clear view to the street. And there's a street light with a telephone pole. Of course, I look over and this figure appears, but it's not the same way that it appeared in my dream or when we were on the investigation. When it appeared this time, it looked like a man wearing a top hat and like just full out black figure, same pitch black, but it had the same feeling of the energy. I don't know what kept it from entering the house or anything, but we felt a lot safer inside the house than going outside because it felt like if we were outside, it could reach us. The dreams still occur. I have a lot of trouble falling asleep now. I don't sleep with the lights off. I can't sleep with the door open anymore. All doors to my rooms are closed. And really, like, after all of that, it actually really negatively affected my life. I had to get out of Waco. I wasn't working there anymore. Like, I left. So I had actually moved down there for a job opportunity, and I had left with nothing. I completely had to uproot my life. Like, my boyfriend and I broke up. I lost my job. I couldn't do it. And so I moved back to be with my family, and it felt like it had really negatively affected me. It had just come in and taken everything away within 6 months of the experiences happening. When I left Waco, nothing has happened since then. Nothing.